Also, we see that it at the same time can make us more vulnerable, as we see Lindsay becoming sad when Virgil takes in the breathing fluid and when he will die. But ironically, it also gives us strength, as she, through showing her feelings, gets Virgil to focus. And we see that if we are really honest, it makes all the sacrifices worth it, as Virgil shows Lindsay that she is still his wife. And this comes together with both the alien and war themes perfectly, because we see that, like with aggression, some humans can be very loving and some can be very hateful, and we see this makes some individuals very kind. And those will be rewarded as Virgil is saved and he and Lindsay rejoice together. And this is also a really wise theme, as it is true you need honesty for a relationship to work. So you really need to know each other to be close, and this makes you vulnerable but in the end strong and happy. And love is only for some individuals, but it's very important, and it makes humans act kind and heroic. And in a relationship we need to really learn to be caring and stand up for each other, as otherwise the other won't feel protected. And yes, if you get together, often it has a deeper meaning, and in the end our feelings can overcome tough circumstances, as those of Lindsay and Virgil do, but we have to be willing to work on it and take risks. And it is true that it's important to be complementary, because more often so, you can then find comfort with each other, and love can help you get through tough times, and it is indeed worth giving lives over, as has been done a lot, not just in movies, but in real life. And also there's a theme on proactivity centered on Virgil's character arc. We see that Virgil is a caring person that supports his crew above money, but he still allows them to be recruited by the military while it is dangerous, and thereby to lose Lindsay's rig. And then when she confronts him on it, he acts defensive and shuts her off, showing that being caring isn't enough. We need to be proactive and be able to protect the people we care about, otherwise we cannot properly support them, and this will hurt our relationship with those people. And we see that he still cares for Lindsay, but as he actually feels bad about not standing up for her, he just acts aggressive, showing that not standing up for people we care about will make us ashamed, but that we often cannot admit this. And also Virgil still tries to be nice to Lindsay and get her to admit she still cares for him, but he isn't honest enough to tell her that she hurt his feelings when she pretends that she doesn't really care for him anymore, and therefore acts condescending. And this shows that not being honest about our emotions will cause others not to understand us, and that we will feel frustrated by our reactions as well as by our own inability to be honest. And we will become colder, and as a result so will they, and so it will lead to escalation. And also we see that being indecisive can almost cause us to give up, as Virgil almost does when he throws his wedding ring in the toilet. Man, I still remember when I gave my fiancée a ring. She was so beautiful, and again, don't you dare sympathize with me. Yeah, that's a Nerf gun. They took my real one away. Stupid Catholics. Anti-violence. Then also we see that Virgil tries to tell Coffee to be nicer to the crew, but Coffee rebuffs him and he doesn't stand up against him, showing that not being proactive enough will allow tougher people to walk over you. And we see, as with him getting mad at a fellow crew member out of frustration, that we can quickly take this out on our friends. And we see that being not understanding and not being nice enough when our friends need it, like Virgil being called to the scared hippie, will lead to even more friction. And we see that learning to be understanding can help us to be better leaders and friends, as Virgil calms down a scared crew member on the sub and learns to be more understanding. And as a result makes him happier and helps relax him before he gets into that horrible coma, so he at least doesn't have nearly as horrible experience as he would have then. And also we see that Virgil becomes more proactive, asking Lindsay, the woman he loves, to trust him and to be open to him, and this strengthens their relationship, as she is able to find comfort in him, showing that being honest strengthens a relationship, as people can really share things with us. And then when the rig goes down, he tries to save a couple of the crew members by being courageous, and although he fails, he acts courageous and saves himself, because he realized that the crew needed him and he needs to be proactive, that this is necessary to be a good leader and allows us to make smarter decisions. And he then acts proactive, comforting the crew, allowing them to salvage the situations, showing that calm, courageous thinking is the key to survival, but also that we need to be courageous in order to be there for the people we love and to be good leaders, because otherwise we won't be able to protect them when it really matters, and this can be very fatal because they can even die in scary situations. And after this, now that he sees Lindsay is supporting him, he honestly tells Lindsay that he's happy she's there, automatically making him feel happier, showing that honesty often makes us feel better about ourselves. This is, of course, when you have a conscience, and a soul, and a heart, and love, and courage, and hope, and friendship, and light, and reliability, and knowledge, and sincerity. Dun 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 dun. Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions. Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions. Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions. Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the... So then Lindsay sees one of the aliens, and Virgil's skeptical of the idea of higher beings, thinking very limitedly, and we see this gives him a less meaningful perspective, and that the fact that he feels Lindsay's theories create unrest, and he needs to justify her a decent coffee, shows that if we don't act enough on our own instincts, we will not be able to follow the truth. And he refuses to follow Lindsay, showing that will lead us to not trust our loved ones when we should. And we see that at first he doesn't even immediately go after coffee when he sees that he has a nuke, showing that if we aren't proactive, dangerous situations can get out of hand. But we also see that coffee is Lindsay grabbed, and he sees he needs to protect her, and that stands up against coffee, showing we will eventually have to be proactive, otherwise our fear will get the better of us, and we won't be able to protect the people we care about, and the fears of not being able to protect those people will become a reality. But if we decide to do the right thing, we can really grow and become stronger people and be better leaders. Virgil then relaxes more and sleeps next to Lindsay, showing that really acting on your feelings for someone can strengthen your bond with them. And then he sees the aliens and realizes higher beings do exist, showing that higher meanings are true, and believing in them can give us a deeper perspective. And he then becomes trustful and happy with Lindsay, showing that having faith can make us happier, and that if we have proof, we can believe in the people we love. This will allow us to act on it, which Virgil does, because when Coffee locks them up, he goes after him for the cold water. And we then see that being courageous allows our friends to do the same, as Cat goes with him, even swimming a lot farther than he thought he could. Although we do really have to be understanding if others can also sometimes be indecisive, which Cat seems to be at first, and Virgil is understanding of. And we see that Virgil becomes really courageous, fighting Coffee himself, and then although it is risky, it pays off, showing courageousness is often rewarded. And then of course, his crest, Glue Orange. And, come on, it was a great show. It's worth referencing, even when it's totally meaningless. Digimon, Digimon, Digital Masters, Digimon are the champions. Digimon, Digital Masters, Digimon are the champions. So then he goes and chases after Coffee, and he and Lindsay can work together now, showing that courageousness allows us to stand for our beliefs and earn the love of the people around us. And we see that he has to be decisive and risk losing Lindsay or else they both die, but that if we are persistent on taking risks, which he is by continuing and trying to revive her, that we can then often be rewarded as Lindsay is saved. And then we see that being really proactive also means being willing to risk our own lives to protect the people we love, which Virgil does by going down and risking dying there, but it can also allow us to save the people we care about. And this can make us achieve higher goals, like an alliance with the aliens. And then he's saved by the aliens, and he has enough faith to defend mankind from the aliens. And he almost loses his faith when they show the violence we've committed, but they show they care for us, as some of us are kind, showing that if we truly act faithful and courageous, our faith will be rewarded. And he becomes able to tell his wife honestly that he loves her, so they reunite. And he then is totally happy, showing being honest of our feelings can make our loved ones realize they feel the same way and fulfill our dreams. This is also a really wise theme, as indeed often when we don't stand up for the people we care for, we feel ashamed but become defensive about it, and also we need to be proactive in protecting the people we care for, and also often if we aren't proactive, people indeed often walk over us, and that's why people often say you've got cones and bowling balls. Oh my god, I made a Dead Like Me reference. I hate that show. And now everybody hates me. And also, you often end up being frustrated towards the people you care for, and you need to indeed be courageous to protect the people you care for. And often when we show ourselves in the true way, we are in dangerous situations. And if we protect the people we care for when they need it, we often realize we are a lot stronger than we think. And it is also important to be understanding of people's faults and to have a deeper perspective on life, as other people have got flaws also, and they cannot function properly if we always criticize them. And also, if we are truly brave, we will be rewarded. And through bravery, humans' greatest achievements occur. And also being honest is important. That's why I'm going to be honest right now. Doc Walker, you suck. I hate you. And I'm the one who has been stealing your chocolate bars. But your site makes a lot of money, so please allow me on the site. And yes, honesty is indeed often rewarded. It is. But yes, being honest about your feelings is crucial in a relationship, so someone truly knows you and knows you care for them and what matters to you, so they can act on it. Also, there's a theme centered on selflessness and kindness, centered on Lindsay's character arc. Lindsay in the beginning is selfish, and as a result acts mean, bossy, and self-centered. She's really aggressive to the boss, and when Virgil doesn't protect her rig enough, she's aggressive to him as well, and she claims love isn't a factor, and that luck isn't a factor, that Virgil doesn't matter to her, and that luck isn't at all important. And is bossy to Virgil, and no one likes her, and she herself is unhappy, showing that only focusing on oneself in the end leads to us being aggressive, and as a result makes others not like us, but also makes us dislike ourselves. And Kat is friends with Lindsay, and she's genuinely happy when he's nice to her, showing that if we are more true to our kind side, we can find happiness. And we see she acts distant to Virgil even though he's being nice to her, and as a result he also becomes angry, showing that being aggressive only hits right back at us. But also we see that she sees one of the crew members gets in the coma and she becomes more helpful, realizing people's lives are at stake, and therefore she becomes more helpful, showing we should be kind and caring as other people might really need us. You know what? Screw this theme. I'm not going to be nice unless people actually think through their thoughts and their arguments on movies and politics. So, never. Also, she becomes more open to Virgil as she needs his support, and that it may be aliens, showing that we sometimes should be kind, as otherwise we will be without support, and then we will be actually a lot more vulnerable instead of less vulnerable. And when the rig crashes, we see that she acts more supportive as the people need her, as they are in great danger, showing we should be supportive as people can really depend on us. And it is rewarding as Virgil appreciates her being there, and she says she isn't happy to be there as she is in danger, but that is her only focusing on herself. And this shows that in the end, if we only focus on ourselves, we don't have nearly as much to be happy about. And this is a really original theme showing why being selfish is wrong and why it's important to be selfless, because you otherwise don't have much to live for, and also you will get treated badly in response. These are original angles, but you also see she sees the aliens and then gets a more meaningful perspective on life, and she then wants Virgil to trust her and acts kind, showing that often when people are selfish and cold, it is because they don't have much to live for. And also we see that she pretended like she only came down there for Drake, but actually she is there for Virgil, showing we often deny their kind of sides to us both, which is really original and smart. And also she then becomes aggressive to Coffee when she sees there's a nuke on the rig, which she also sees as her rig, and Virgil protects her and then advises her to be careful, and she actually listens to him, showing that we should take advice from the people we love because they know us, like Elliot and JD. Oh man, I really need to watch less Scrubs, and to eat less macaroni, and murder less people, and commit less genocide, and be less intolerant. I know the last three were jokes. Be more tolerant, silly. She's still a bit secretive towards Virgil though, not telling him of wanting to film the aliens, and discusses Virgil not to be able to help her, showing that secrecy only works against us, as people cannot properly support us. And then she becomes more motherly, comforting an injured seal, and sleeping next to Virgil, showing that if we trust people more, we can really feel more comfortable and happy. And this is also really original. We see we can not care about each other, not just in dramatic moments, that's a problem, but that it's also a problem not to care about each other in the more mundane moments, that it's important that we need to learn to care about each other when we really need each other, but also that we can also be more happy around each other when we are just comfortable and relaxed in daily life, which is not nearly as much focused on the drama films. It's always like being for each other when it really matters, but just being there for each other a lot also just helps people being more comfortable. When she meets the aliens, she's happy and open, showing that sometimes high meanings can help us realize that there's more in life than her own needs. And also she's then locked up with the others, and once they escape, she's worried of Virgil endangering themselves, showing we often indeed care about people more than we pretend to. And she then works together with Virgil, listening to him and complimenting him, and as a result they defeat Coffee, showing that really being nice not only helps relationships emotionally, but it also originally and realistically shows it helps practically as well. Then she sacrifices her life, and as a result Virgil lives, and he revives her, showing that often if we don't focus on ourselves, others will for us. And she kisses him when she's drowning, showing that making a sacrifice for someone can make us realize how much we care for them. And then she's very happy around Virgil, showing that making sacrifices really can make us feel better about ourselves. Then she becomes more openly worried over Virgil when he takes the breathing fluid, and the crew comforts her, showing that allowing people to see her vulnerable sides can lead them to support us, which is also very original. And then she sees Virgil goes down into the deep, and One Eye tells her to be open to Virgil, and she does, and this makes him feel better, showing that through our friends that being around them and allowing them to support us and being honest to them can help us to be more honest and relaxed, and then this can get us through tough times. And she indeed now became friends with the crew, showing that being helpful and kind can allow us to make new friends. And she becomes very sad, afraid she will lose Virgil, and admits it isn't easy to be a bitch, and she shows she never liked being called and just acted like that while that wasn't who she really was.